It's Saturday night. We're less than 24 hours out from the unconstitutional, criminal strike on Syria, where 100 plus cruise missiles and bombs were launched and dropped on the sovereign nation of Syria that's been battling Al Qaeda and ISIS under a globalist invasion for 6 years. Now, this issue is so supremely important that I am going to make myself calm down and cover all of these facts here. But I want to encourage everybody watching on Facebook and on Periscope and on YouTube to understand that they have been massively censoring our live feeds in the quote leftist blogosphere and Google and Twitter so that we can't try to stop the war. We had an emergency 30-plus hour broadcast leading up to the very day where it happened yesterday. Russia has vowed retaliation. That's the big issue we're going to cover. The Democrats are celebrating it. That's another big issue. And then there's just the lies about WMDs, just like Iraq, where they've caught the rebels 3 times before staging it, and they didn't even send inspectors in to check. They just rushed to a new war. So we're going to look at all this. But the big issue for you and I and my 4 children, and your children, your family, is that the globalists want war with Russia, not with China, who they've industrialized and put all their eggs in one basket. And so I see people commenting on InfoWars, according to this news, and on YouTube going, Jones, you don't get geopolitical systems. Do they even know what geopolitical means? It's the inner workings of different nation states that border each other. It's only one system of real politic. It's not even one of the more accurate forms of it if you look at it. Everything is really culture and market. But I'm not going to get into that. They say, don't you get it? We're allied with Saudi Arabia against Iran, so we've got to take out Syria. No, I get it. And in the control room, I'm going to go show you a video in a few minutes. We have Wesley Clark, who 15 years ago said he was at the Pentagon. He released classified info, risking his career. And he's a liberal, but a classical liberal. Don't agree with a lot of his policies, but he still doesn't want World War III. And he said, I went to the Pentagon. They had 7 countries they were going to strike bipartisanly. They had a whole plan how they were going to do it. We have the WikiLeaks cables. We know the policy of the globalist. And it's the same one Obama followed and Hillary followed and W followed and Herbert Walker followed and Bill Clinton followed. And so I don't need to sit there and wonder why Trump did this. This is the globalist policy. And I'm going to get to the articles and video clips here in a moment. But I'm so sick of pseudo-intellectuals and people that don't spend 15 hours a day studying like I do, telling me, oh, you don't get it. We had to send a message to Iran and North Korea. Oh, really? You don't think I don't get that? Ahead of the peace talks with North Korea? The issue is Syria never attacked anybody. It is one of the most progressive, in a true term, Muslim countries where women can go to college, people don't wear burqas, Christians and Jews can live there. And the West has been trying to overthrow it for decades. And Assad has tried to reform, just like Gaddafi did. And that was met with, oh, you're weak, we're going to destroy you. So here's the big issues. Russia says they're going to retaliate. Why did the West do this? I'm going to tell you all this. I mean, the globalists fear me because I do my studying. Most of them just act like they're studying and kind of fake it till they make it. They hijacked America. They think they are America. They think they are the Renaissance. They think they are the West. They don't even. I've sat there in meetings, even in D.C., with high-level globalists, very high level, who wanted to meet with me. And obviously, the meetings I was having there weren't just about what they claimed they were about. And obviously, the people showed up at the meetings like I knew they would. And it was a parlay, you could say. And I told them again, no quarter, because you've given us no quarter. But that's a side issue. This is about the raw exercise of power. And the people that have hijacked our nation say they're doing all these bad things for America, but they're the very ones that have sold the country out and parlayed our power, our will, our money, our ingenuity into this big global corporate government they set up that's authoritarian. I'm all for a loosely knit, free market, global consensus government that doesn't run things, but is a parliament, a Congress, a college of debate. I'm all about people coming and debating, which the UN wasn't even set up to do. But that's not a global government. That is governance of the people communicating with each other. So I'm straight shooting you. Somebody that's read over, let's not exaggerate, probably 1,500 history books. Most of these academics haven't read 100. They're fakes. And that's why they fear InfoWars. You should look at all the attacks and ask, why do they fear InfoWars? What is it? Because I'm more academic than any academic. And we have all the academics on, a lot of the good ones. And they all know that too. I can sit there and debate up one side and down the other, a former CIA spy chief, and beat them in a debate because I know the full spectrum. And I'm not bragging, I'm telling you the facts that you're getting right now. The bona fides, in Latin, the bones, the guts, the heart, the core. And they don't like that. Everybody else tries to angle and maneuver what does best for them. I'm trying to lead. Big difference. I'm not trying to make it. I'm trying to win. And for me to win and mine to win, you got to win. The sociopathic globalists call me a schmuck. No, they're the schmucks. Because if we don't all try to help each other, legitimately know the truth, don't put people on welfare and keep them in little cages and dumb them down and say you're helping them. No, those are slaves. I mean, really empower people. If you aren't willing to empower humanity and step back in a real debate because you're scared of the power of humanity, you globalists think you're gods. Any real God would turn loose humanity. Real gods give Promethean fire. Real gods build. Real gods aren't scared of competition. Real gods want to be surpassed. So we stand at the threshold right now with Russia vowing strikes. Why did the globalists do this? What's the larger plan? The Democrats are celebrating it. Why did I come out last night and say F Trump? I'm usually focused. I'd come down here at 9 o'clock at night. I said, Rob, while they're getting the crew here in the studio going, let me do a live feed. He had misunderstood, and I said, okay. So he went live on 3 cameras like we are right now. And I was so upset by the threat of World War III and not knowing if the Russians would respond, which thank God they didn't. Thank God they had such restraint. I don't lionize the Russians, but they're lionized, by their action. Assad put out a tweet where he said, the honorable cannot be humiliated. It was so deep. It's like, I'm honorable. I really stand for what I stand for. It's not like I'm like something special. I don't want to be a piece of crap. What I say is what I'm really doing. And it's that straight shooting. These globalists don't get it. Just because they can Machiavelli and, if we don't attack Syria, Saudi Arabia will ally with Russia. And if we don't attack and overthrow him, then why should we let him have pipelines and let them have tens of billions of dollars? Because they'll big giant hotels and airports, and Western culture will spill in there, not the fake globalist culture, but real Western culture, and we'll intermarry with the Syrians, and we'll have a great future, and we'll build star bases. Here's the thing: humans keep fighting over how many resources there are. It's already unlimited. They know that. They've already got all the new energy systems. They're trying to suppress us in the whole petro system. Does that mean I'm at war with the oil companies? No, they just need to lay back and go with the victory. Like they say in Full Metal Jacket, that is a Marine Corps saying, just get involved, stand up, and come in for the big win. See, I have such confidence. And it's not delusional confidence, it's historical confidence. It's genetic confidence. It's spiritual confidence. When I tell you my family going back is just a wrecking crew of freedom against tyrants, it's not talk, it's real. And so I'm just genetic information. I'm zeros and ones passed on. And I'm rooting for humanity. I'm on Team Human. I'm on Team America. And all these self-centered people that don't get it, they think when I get attacked or we get demonized that, oh, look at you, you're getting attacked by the system. I want to be attacked by the system. I'm here to do this, but it's not about me. I'm trying to explain the cosmology of this. So let's hit the big points. The Russians say they're going to strike back. How will that be? Economic? Political? Military? Spiritual? How will the Russians strike back? And where are they in history? And their whole journey of being under leftist gang rape for 85 years. I mean, literal gang rape. Gouging their eyeballs out and murdering them. The vampires feeding on Russia, sucking its blood. God, right out of New York City. New York just came over there. They just raped Russia. Bernie Sanders vacations there. Oh, God, what a nightmare. During the 70s. Where you go and just see the whole sick system and what they've done. And reality and free market overturned and free will overturned. God, just thank God for those tough people. We have to admit who the enemy is, though. We have to delve into their mind. We have to do deep dives. I've done the deep dives. Oh my God, have I done them? And it just makes me so committed to fight them. So, how is Russia going to counterstrike? Why did Trump do this? Why are the Democrats celebrating him? And why did I say F Trump? Am I off the off the Trump train? Let's start at the least important first. Trump for a year and a half has about 90% delivered on what he said he would do, which is record level. It's so good that when he does something bad, it makes it that much worse. So as far as his military operation and what he's done in Syria, with the information we know from every angle, this is a big fat F minus. It's a zero. And I get them saying all the data that went into the Machiavellian decision. We're above that. It's not that we're dumb and don't get it. We don't delve in it. King Arthur challenges with his honor and his will. That's the Western ethos, the strength. He doesn't calculate. He is, which is an ethos of Christ. You don't, when you're promoting the truth and honor and will, you don't have to play games. You got it all. And Trump, you came in and took over the Arthurian or the Roland or the Beowulf archetype. And you can't take on that power and not deliver. You will be destroyed. Not by me, but let me prophesy right now. You do not take on that ancient courage of the hero and then not be the hero, be the betrayer, be the executioner, be the fool, be the jester. They call that a priest, don't they? Someone who thinks they can be with all at the same time. Lies, all of it. You got to choose who you are. All of us have the entire deck of cards in our soul. You have to choose that. And the true successful, you get the big secrets here, folks. They follow then what their will is and their destiny, and that's where it leads. You can't have everything you want, but you can have anything you want. You can't have it all, but you can have things if the destiny and the will of the people is there, like a wave with a surfer. That big 100-foot wave comes in, that once-in-a-lifetime wave in the Pacific, in Australia, and you catch it, and you're not the wave, but you caught it and you knew to be there, and now you're part of the wave. You can't dominate the wave. You can't be the wave, except when you give into the wave, then you are the wave, like the rock in the water. And then the globalist attack where the stone hit the water, the stone already sunk. It's already oblivion. So I don't want to get metaphysical here. It's just World War III and the true danger of it. I can feel the energy. I can see the geopolitical evidence. Why did Trump attack? What will the Russians do? What have they said? Why have I countered and attacked Trump back viciously? Why are the Democrats celebrating it? These are the big institutional questions that if you have a memory, because they've done everything they can to reduce your memory, that's their main goal, remember. It's in their own admissions. It's in the WikiLeaks. Gruber admits it. Remember all this. It's all there. So I'm going to go through some evidence here, but I want you to understand that what I'm telling you is not my opinion. And that's my greatest frustration. The globalists have to communicate to the people that serve them who've decided to serve them. And just like any blueprint or owner's manual or program for a play, each of us players upon the stage, can you imagine the globalists trying to execute this and their people ideologically get confused, they can't figure it out? Well, there are declassified CIA manuals. One of them is 1,100 pages long that is public, and I've read it twice. And people ask, how do you know all this? How do you know what's going to happen? I read a master Georgetown University manual written in the mid-'60s called Tragedy and Hope. And for people, that's like alien technology. Like, you read an 1,100-page book. I'm just going to say you're wrong. And then I get in front on the street by always a little soy boy. And I'm not against little skinny guys, but it's a cult. It's always a little skinny guy acting smart and, oh, we got you. And they're a human. I want them to be free, but I realize they're gone. And for their audience, if I treat them human, they'll take that as weakness and believe them. I have to then crush them, even though I see how sad they are while I'm doing it. And I don't say that like, oh, I crushed them, I'm big. I had to crush them because it's what they needed. And I take no pleasure in it. Those single moms, giving them that formula, their little brains are like a third smaller. They're just scared babies that sat there, and that Klepper and that Libby guy sat there in their cribs. And I'm not just crapping themselves for days with no love. And they're soulless, and they're looking for a daddy. Because daddy wasn't there. No, and I don't say it to be mean. I get it, man. I had a real dad. Real mom. So when I say you're pieces of crap, I don't enjoy that fact. But you know what? I got to declare you as an enemy, as a fallen piece of, you know what, Stelter and all these people, that Michael Moore, Bill Clinton, all of them. They don't have it. And that's why they're trying to take what those of us that have it away, because they're pissed. Our very existence as men connected to God, knowing we're wicked, but you know what? Our North Star is God, and we love God, and we're begging God to heal us and not make us so bad. Compared to you people that just run after the devil all day. Well, guess what? I found the devil. And you don't want to find the devil, you fools. And that's why you all hate me. You know of what I speak. You know I know. And that's the thing. We're here to make sure you understand. So let's get political right now and lay this out. Why? I'll go to the least important first, but just to understand it. Why did I come out last night and flip out on Trump? Because I was so angry, I kind of said, hey, go live. And they didn't understand and started side cameras instead of the big digital system over here. And then I realized I was on. And then I said, delete it. People grabbed it by the end. But I'm proud of what I said. I mean, that was me organically. Maybe once a year I flip out like that at the office. A Bill O'Reilly moment, F it, I'll do it live. And people were already grabbing it live, so they got part of it. They didn't get all of it, thank God. It was even wilder. And then there's the whole thing of like, oh, he's an actor. His lawyer said that's not real. Okay, was it real about Trump saying he wasn't for the Iraq war and wasn't for the Syria war, and Obama founded ISIS with Hillary and he wouldn't strike Syria, and he's done it twice now? You know, those are facts. It isn't about whether I'm an actor or not. And that's how they change the subject with these labels. Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. Oh, he's a racist. Oh, he's a crisis actor. Oh, on and on and on. And I don't address this because it's a weak point. It's so viewers get it. My ex-wife wanted to bring into a custody battle me and Joker outfit 7, 8 years ago, acting totally nuts as an art piece. And the judge and my lawyer said, this video, she had the exhibit, she had the transcript. This is a video where he's being satirical as an actor, just like, you know, Jack Nicholson plays the Joker. He isn't really psychotic saying he wants to kill kids. So I was saying that in the video. Hey, take your fluoride, kids, so you die. And my ex-wife's like, with her lawyers, he wants kids to die, he wants them to eat chemicals. And my lawyer's like, actually, he's playing the Joker, and he doesn't mean what he's saying, it's satire. And they go, oh, look at him, he's an actor, and it's all fake. And I sat there and thought, the public won't buy into that. That's obvious. A lot of people did. To this point, people walk me and go, I used to like you, but then you admitted it was all fake, you're an actor. Oh, yeah, like, I'm pro-Second Amendment, I'm pro-First Amendment, I'm pro-America, I'm pro-freedom, like all the hell I've gone through, I'm an actor. See, it's a way to not look at what I've done. And again, I'll make it about myself, but they make it all about me constantly when we're on the edge of World War III and the Russians retaliating, and I take us back to that. So instead of debating Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton praising Trump for the Syria strike, we're talking about, is Alex for real? Okay, did Elizabeth Warren praise Trump? Did Hillary? I've got the articles right here. I'll show them to you. Yeah, it isn't about whether you think I'm real or not. What is the compendium of our work? And it isn't about me, but it's about this game they play where they label things as fake when any fool says you go to a great pizza place and it's delicious tasting pizza and it feels great and you don't get sick from it. Is it a real pizza? Yeah. You go see a great movie. Is it a great movie? You know. But this thing of, oh, he's a fake. And they never show me saying the things they said I said. They just edit it all together, twist it, and then think so lowly of you that you won't even care. So I said F Trump because I knew there was a very good chance, as top professors from Princeton and Georgetown and Harvard and the Pentagon and the Army War College and the Air Force War College and the Naval War College are all over everywhere saying, real academics they get on go, this is more dangerous than any time in the Cold War. If we attack and kill a bunch of Russians, there's a good chance they're going to strike back against our ships, and then we'll hit them, and then it goes to nukes in a few hours. And I told my wife all this last night. When I left at like 8:30, she got mad. She said, there could be a nuclear war, and there could be. Real wars happen. This stuff goes on. Thank God it hadn't happened yet. I told her all this. She researched it. She was mad I left thinking there could be a nuclear war because there could be. So you can't have your cake and eat it too and say you're anti-war and you're a liberal, but you're pro-war. And you don't even know the Syrian details. It's like Joy Behar saying, Trump's insane. He wants to attack Russian forces when she's saying Trump's a Russian agent. There's no 2 + 2 = 4. There's no congruent knowledge or common sense or anything. It's like you're trying to talk to people that don't care. They don't want to know the truth. They just make up any narrative they want. And the system's so pissed because every statement I've made, I've got news articles here admitting it all. And that's what's crazy. You got the big PR that goes out, but then you got separately the journalists and the ambassadors and the military people. So why did I say that about Trump? Trump has been for real. That's why they scared them so much. But for real means he's his own president. He's not a bad guy, but he's got some authoritarian bents, torture. He's very honest about a lot of things. He sees us being one-sided, screwed over, and goes, why shouldn't America be dominant? He's real, doesn't mean he's perfect. Doesn't mean I agree with him on a lot of stuff, but at least he's not with them. But this signifies blackmail. That's another video I'm going to do later. Another live video. Where clearly, and we have evidence, he's being blackmailed, not with Russiagate, but they got his lawyer, they got all the other stuff. And you're running multi-billion-dollar companies, let me tell you. You're running casinos, you're running apartment buildings, you're running condos, you're involved. If you do an entry wrong on a bank statement, the FBI calls it wire fraud. If you send a bank statement over the internet. So, evidence points toward Trump is starting to roll. And I want to talk about what he can counter that, how he should have a press conference. That's another video I'm going to do. It's a whole separate topic. But this is my big, long, deep dive rant here. So let me just try to finish this up then and move on. So my wife wants me to take her out to dinner with the baby. Why did Trump strike? In countervalence of all the knowledge. What are the Russians going to do in response? They've said they're going to respond back. How are the Democrats on Twitter and Facebook? I've spent hours there reading it just because it was so interesting to see their mindset going, what the hell? He's your president. This is your problem. We're anti-war. We're Democrats. And I'm like, Hillary called for striking Syria 2 years ago, a year ago. She, Elizabeth Warren said Trump did a great job. All these people. And I saw people tweeting back at them and they go, liar, fake news. That's what I mean. There's this childish, delusional behavior now, particularly in Democrats, where they don't care what the facts are. And if you legitimately try to address them and really try to be honest like a human to them and go, hey, the Republicans aren't perfect either. Hey, maybe we shouldn't have these wars. Hey, let's work together. They don't care because they've been radicalized by successive approximation to where they don't care anymore. So I went after Trump because he's under attack. The deep state doesn't like him because he's his own president. He's not out to get America. He isn't perfect. He's not out to get the country. He's brought back so much stuff, got us out of TPP, you name it. Some Democrats claim they wanted until Trump pulled out of it. Unelected global systems. And I want to just be honest that not knowing if we're going to have World War III and how the Russians are going to respond fundamentally makes me angry, especially when we know Obama and Hillary created the modern Al-Qaeda and ISIS, tried to overthrow Assad. It all came out in the news. We wouldn't be Al-Qaeda's Air Force. Senator Paul, Senator Cruz, it all came out. We first broke it. Brave military people came out in our own government, exposed it. Tosh Plumley, CIA. He's having a hideout in South America now. They're trying to kill him. And, I risked my life. I mean, I'm not bragging. It's just a fact. This is like, we went through a lot here. And I went through the Democrats trying to take my kids away and the media and all of it and just the demonization, the lawsuits and all of it. And then to see Trump start going really sideways and going and striking Syria when there's a fourth chemical attack, when the last three got confirmed by the UN and our own government to be the rebels, and the Russians are pulling out, the U.S. is pulling out, Trump announced, and then magically in a rebel-held area it happens. The Russians said a month ago, on March 18th, that they had intel that the rebels in that town were about to stage a chemical attack, so they couldn't pull out. Do I just believe Russians? No. 3 times the rebels have been caught before. The rebels have the motive. They have the history. The red line is this. It's so insulting. So, why did Trump do this? He did it because the military-industrial complex wants it. It's a distraction from Stormy Daniels. It's a distraction from Michael Cohen. It is a diversion from every other angle of this. And it allows Trump to say, see, I'm not a Russian agent. I just blew up Russian military bases in Syria where they've been for 50 years. And Saudi Arabia wants it. There's so many points to this. And I love the Machiavellians. They go, oh, you don't know the geopolitical. It's to threaten Iran, North Korea. Of course I get that. But it doesn't change the calculus. It doesn't change the numbers that the West toppled our allies in the Middle East. The globalists that funded the Arab Spring, they toppled Egypt. They toppled Libya when he came in out of the dark and set them up. Totally dishonorable and put radical jihadists to kill hundreds of thousands. The globalists went into Syria to break down the door to Turkey and flood Europe with radical Muslims. This is a global strategy to bring down 7 countries that Wesley Clark talked about 10 years ago in classified briefings. And we've got all the WikiLeaks, the communiques, that it is about bringing Syria down. And that's it. And it means Trump, who said Hillary founded Al-Qaeda, Obama helped fund Al-Qaeda, the Syria war is a proxy war, it's wrong, Russia's right to be in there kicking ISIS out, and instead our military is not kicking ISIS out. 95% Congress has been briefed 4 years ago of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, of the Al-Nusra groups, all up in Syria. 95%, one report's 92%, are radical jihadists. So that's what's going on. And Jared Kushner went over there in the last year, made this deal with the Saudis, whatever it was. And you have the shootout in Las Vegas as some weird message to Trump with the Saudis. And this is all out of control. And I'm going to trust Trump because the globalists hate him and because they've come after him and because there's something going on. I don't have all the pieces. But I'll tell you this rolling over, F the ideas that Trump was involved in there. And I wanted to demarcate and just lay down a line like a system where you survey that this is bad, it's wrong. The West started the Arab Spring, it started the toppling of these countries. It's not replacing it with something better, it's bringing in something 100 times worse. I mean, Al Qaeda, ISIS, heart choppers, people. I mean, they are a satanic cult. And so that's why I went after Trump. And so you have to ask, what are the Russians going to do? Well, they've announced they're going to have retaliation. They haven't said how. Thank God that they controlled themselves and did this. And I get that it was cosmetic by Trump, like during the Monica Lewinsky vote in the House. Bill Clinton bombed a Sudan factory that produced aspirin and Tylenol and antibiotics, saying it was a weapons lab. And so they gave the Russians time to pull out. It's all cosmetic, and I get it's probably backroom channels. They're saying, everybody gets off Trump's back about Russia, but you still, to appease all these different elements that are playing games, and to quote corner Iran, it's immoral and it's wrong, and it just turns into this mentally ill, evil game that never ends. And you mentally ill, fever swamp Machiavellis, you think I don't understand what you're doing. No, I get the insanity. It's like having 107 fever and hallucinating. I tune into your spirit. It's like, God almighty, that sucks. That didn't build America. It didn't build the systems. It doesn't build productivity. It is a joke. It is a bunch of losers that want to play games with other people's lives like they're pawns. And you think we don't get your system because we're not smart enough. No, we're not mentally ill. Like inbred Egyptians or inbred royalty, or so much of radical Islam's problem is like, the Pakistanis are less than 1% great people on average, but not the inbred ones. It's very sad what's happening to them. They're great people. It's very sad. The problems they have aren't great. And 37% of the deformities in the UK are from Pakistanis because they keep marrying their sisters and their cousins. And I mean, our problem is inbreeding and mental illness. And Israel has been breeding and mental illness. It has some really great brains. Inbreeding can create super geniuses. It does that too, but it also creates a bunch of schizophrenic, crazy people. And the Muslims are inbred in many areas. The places where they're not inbred, they have, high culture like Jordan. And the British royalty and the Dutch royalty and the German royalty, which is really Transylvanian royalty, the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, they are all inbred. They're crazy people. They got Habsburgs' noses and ears and chins, and they're freaking out to lunch, man. Just like some inbred poodle you get chews its own leg off and bites your kid, or a pit bull. Inbreeding ain't funny. So our biggest problem is inbreeders. A lot of inbreeding was done here in the United States. But people shipped over here as slaves as well. And so much of what we deal with on this planet is inbreeding. We need hybrid vigor. The globalists aren't really pushing that. They're pushing everybody in their own little enclaves, fighting with each other. I'm so much stronger that I've got Comanche blood and Irish and German and everything else you can imagine. But, I digress. This is just such a huge topic. I don't know how I boil this down simply. The Russians could strike back. If they don't, the globalists will just do more false flags. Oh, I forgot this. It was Friday the 13th, 2018. You know the whole history of that, total Illuminati, Knights Templars, being rounded up in Paris, France, by the Vatican. I mean, it's heavy iconography that I can't even, I'm trying to assimilate. But it's 1 year later, almost the day of his first strike. The first strike's 59 missiles. This is 100 and something. And it's exponential. And it's just a message. We have the power. And Russia, we're pissed you came in and kicked Al-Qaeda and ISIS's ass. Even though Rand Paul and myself and Cruz and the listeners and viewers shamed our own government into not openly backing ISIS 5 years ago and after Benghazi. And now on Friday the 13th, this happens. 2018. And the message to Russia and everybody is, we're going to attack you. Do something. When they got thousands of nuclear weapons. And they're Christian now, and they're free market more, and they want to work with the West, and they've got more resources than Africa and Russia, and it's the standard deal for our corporations. It's a match made in heaven. The geopolitical analyst, the Pentagon, told Trump this, the good guy, General Flynn. That's why General Flynn was a bad guy, because he wasn't Machiavelli. He wasn't inbred. He was just a smart Irish guy that wanted freedom. And that's why he's bad. See, he's mentally ill, the globalist. He's not inbred. He just wants to get resources, work together, go to the stars. He wants to stop radical Islam. He's a pragmatist. He's not, the Russians are powerful. They have powerful will. Hitler couldn't beat them. Napoleon couldn't beat them, but we will. We sent our communists in 1970 and took over. And we had a good run at the Russians. We thought we had them down, and they came back. It's vampires trying to suck on what they see as the third or fourth strongest group. And I'm not saying the Russians are the third or the fourth strongest people. That's how the globalists see them. You know who's number one. You know who Hitler and all the occultists, everybody else, you know who they think worldwide is number one? Number one. Not America. England, Scotland, and Ireland. That is seen as spiritually, culturally, IQ, will, the fusion. The globalists worship the UK. At the same time, they want to destroy it. So you want the big secrets, that's it. God, they hate America. They hate the UK, and they hate the Russians so much, the globalists. And they want to pull it down. It's been the source of their power since the Knight Templars, got run off from Paris and ran up to Scotland. Look it up. What, 13 whatever? Get your phone. Look up Knight Templars, Friday the 13th. There's a Wikipedia. It's like 13 something. Right at the start of it was in the middle of the Crusades. But that's where Friday the 13th comes from. So what are the messages in all this? What's really going on? It's bigger than a distraction for Trump. It's about Trump being subservient to the military-industrial complex that's been hijacked by the globalists. And it's about all these yes men like Dumford. And by the way, I got so angry last night in that feed, I wasn't even sure it was live, that I called Mattis a cocksucker. And Mattis is the guy that said, we're probably not going to attack. We don't want to attack. We don't have evidence of chemicals. And he's been a mediating force. And it was like kind of like when I got mad at Schiff once. I was talking about somebody else. I just get so angry in those moments. I just meant the whole thing. And I'm not kissing Mattis's ass. He looks like a Palpatine, and I still say that. It's just that I watched the video. I was like, what was that about Mattis? I was just so angry it wasn't even coherent. Because World War III is not coherent. It's stupid. We've got unlimited real estate in space. We've got unlimited freedom. We've got it all. We don't need to do this. When did they do the massacre, Friday the 13th?
It says Pope Clement V disbanded the order in 1312, and Philip of France.
Let me see it. Yeah, exactly. So let me tell you. Just touch it on memory. The order, which was amongst the wealthiest and most powerful, became a favored charity throughout Christendom and grew rapidly. The Pope got jealous of it and membership and power. Where's the part where they killed him? Here it is. Yeah, here it is. The Templars were closely tied to the Crusades. When the Holy Land was lost, support for the order faded. Rumors about the Templars' secret initiation ceremony created distrust among King Philip IV of France. Deeply in debt to the order, took advantage of the situation to gain control over them. 1307, he had many of the order's members in France arrested, tortured into giving false confessions, and burned at the stake. Pope Clement V disbanded the order in 1312. It was 13 something. So, and of course, Blackwater is actually the reborn Knights Templars. That's big secret baseball. They do an initiation of that. I'm the first to tell you that, by the way. All this stuff, and I don't even. And now the weird thing is, Blackwater and XC is connected to the Vatican and the Swiss Guard. I mean, this is really old school stuff, folks. And if you studied history, you understand it. But you go around these fake intellectuals. Some Comedy Central guy comes hopping up to you on the street, like, "Look, I'm intellectual," and you're just like, they won't even have a discussion with you. They just want to edit clips together and have a real debate. And I don't want that guy to die in a thermonuclear war, or his kids, or anybody else. I don't need to see him be a dumbass for me to feel big. I want to see him be powerful, so I feel big. When he falls, I feel weak. So why have I gone after Trump? Because this shows he's being blackmailed, he's been compromised, he's been lied to, he's believing who he's being advised. Mattis says we're not going to do it. There's no evidence. That's a fact. Then all of our media says today and yesterday, once the president did that, the media got in line. CNN, MSNBC, Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, they all came out. And they said, Assad launched chemicals. He did it. He killed 60 people. They haven't even had inspectors there. They had Swiss inspectors who say it's not even nerve gas. You have people saying it's VX, but they're walking around even masked, sponging people off. It's chlorine gas they got hit with. You can make that easy. VX, you touch it, you're dead. But that's Jane's Weapons Encyclopedia. It's not like it's my opinion. Chlorine gas is like sunlight, is an allegory. VX is like picking up 2,000-degree white coals. You see what I'm saying? And there was the last 2 gas attacks. They cooked this up. ISIS gets caught doing it all. That's confirmed. And I'm not defending Assad. I'm defending the truth. So I'm angry at Trump because he's done so much good, but more and more he's starting to roll over under the pressure. And a lot of that's because the American people are, I guess, not informed or not involved or listening to propaganda. And Owen Schroyer made the point that Democrats, hey, this is your president now. And I saw them counter him on YouTube and go, oh, we're not for the war. He's your problem. It's the Democrats saying Trump's a Russian agent. It's Democrats saying he's not tough on Syria. It's Hillary saying bomb it. It's Elizabeth Warren praising him. I've got the damn articles. Don't sit there as leftists, because I was tweeting at them today. They're like, shut up, fake news. I'm like, here's Elizabeth Warren praising Trump. Shut up. Oh, are you a crisis actor, Elizabeth Warren? They just use these things. And it's like, they don't even care about themselves. They don't even care about a real debate. And they think that ignorance and that stupidity is will and is powerful. So how will the Russians retaliate? If they don't retaliate, the West will just keep staging attacks until something happens. We've got U.S. forces massing on the Russian borders. We have George Soros overthrowing Ukraine. He bragged about it. I mean, I had George Soros funded Media Matters, Right Wing Watch, and Think Progress, all funded by Soros in their own federal filings. Deny they're funded by Soros to my face at my press conference on Tuesday in D.C. And then they just denied everything else. And they didn't care. And it was that walled offness, because even if they were mercenaries, they'd know I was telling the truth, but they just didn't care. And one of them goes, oh, what did Soros overthrow? What's your proof that he overthrew Ukraine? And I went, he said it on Fareed Zakaria and on ABC News and on NBC News. And I started trying to pull it up and I went, I'm out of here. I treat them like humans. They don't treat me like one because they're mothers. And it's tied to this. Didn't hold them, didn't love them. It's why the industrialists 100 years ago said we're going to take kids away, give them formula, keep them in cribs, because if they're up against their mother, if they're babies on average, there's like 3 or 4 should be sleeping with the parents in bed. It's been just IQs go way up, spiritual connection. We're not sure what it is. It's like electromagnetic, but the baby's with you up against your skin. Hours a day, they're spiritual, they boost. And all these people, I go, let me guess, you're a single family? Let me tell you, your mom worked? They're going to go, yeah, well, why do you say that? I go, how do you know that? And it's not that moms are bad. They did this on purpose. And it's because they're like little chickens that weren't with their mama. They didn't imprint. And they imprinted on TV and the culture and money. And so I'm like, hey, I'm honorable. I'm trying to wake you up. And they don't care because they have souls, but it's like a can of soda that the top isn't popped. They never got to it. It's all walled off, a little scared baby. And it just wants attention. It wants to feel like it's big, and it wants a daddy, and it wants a mommy. It wants kinship. It wants culture. It wants rituals. It wants all of it. And then I realized, my God, I was given everything. I was given all the rites of passage, all the rituals, all the parents, all the family, all these amazing people. Like going into rooms with my family and the psychic connection and just all the energy and everything. And I was just like, my God, these people have been deprived of everything. And do I feel like some globalist because they have their dark communions, they have their connection, I have mine? They look at people that are disconnected and think we have power over them because they're disconnected. I look at them as lemmings pouring us off into hell. So I'm going to end this transmission. I got to go home. I got one more I want to do and play the Wesley Clark clip and all the rest of it. But I came out against Trump because I defended him so hard, not because I'd sold out or not because I was on the payroll or not because any of that, but because I knew he was under attack. I knew he was taking power back from the globals to America. I knew they legitimately hated him. And I knew that 90% of what he was doing was good. I mean, the sponsors we lost and the lawsuits and the family attacks and the private investigators and the attempted assaults and the stuff I can't even get into here. It's like a James Bond movie that I did to try to bring the Republic back and to see nationalism all over the world. We're winning. Trump and a soldier at 71 years old falling or even going sideways, we already got a year and a half of destroying globalism. We already have it spreading worldwide. That's why they're so scared. But it was how good it was, and that I was committed to it no matter what, to see him then do this and watch the pseudo-intellectuals and the pseudo-military tacticians and field marshals and people with their gambits and their stratagems and their military psychological warfare, algorithm overview, index, war planning model systems. Tell me how I don't know about war. Give me a freaking break. Mattis tries to act like Palpatine. Give me a break, Mattis, all you guys. It's all there. And when you dial into the evil, you think it's real smart. When you pull back, you realize it's a joke. Honor, will, strength, straightforwardness is what builds planets. It's pure information. It's pure will. It's straight up, and it creates godly systems. The knowledge of evil is twisted virus cancer systems that build parasitic systems within systems and always have entropy and always implode. The system we're promoting, the Renaissance, and the globalists even fear this. They're so satanic. They talk about the earth being this egg and a detonator for human expansion. And that is exactly what's about to happen. And you will not stand in the way of that. And so at a cultural and spiritual level, I feel threatened by world war. I know this is a major threat. I know the Russians understand it and others, and because of after 85 years of globalist gang raping, they know better than anybody. And the communist Chinese are against us in all of this. And to watch the Russians blame as being our enemy when the globalists actually victimized them, we paid for it. We should apologize to the Russians. And the Chinese are truly, there are Chinese with great souls, but the leadership of it doesn't have a soul. And it's a broadcast wave. They sync up. The genetics are almost identical. The Chinese are powerful, but they've got it's a robot army when they go into the robot mode. And like the Germans are very robotic as well, very dangerous. And we are here at that point, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a robot army of 1,300,000,000 people, and the Muslims are 1,300,000,000, and they're about to be double that in like 10, 15 years, and they're being prepared as the next attack. And then we're not over there attacking the Muslims to stop them. We're there to knock out reasonable Muslims in Syria and open the gate to Europe. They are there with Hillary and Obama and the globalists trying to ram down the gate, trying to blow the doors open on Europe for a true land invasion, not a North African invasion into Spain. Like we already see what Soros is doing, a repeat of the first Islamic colonization in the beginning with El Cid and the rest of it of the La Reconquista. We are repeating the ancient will of our ancestors, and I'm here to raise the alarm that we are under massive attack, and I'm not a child. All these fools think I'm under attack, I'm losing, I'm winning, I'm on the front lines in a major battle. I don't give a damn about myself. And I don't just say that to act big. When you are a man, it's a joke to even care about yourself. I have no fear except failure. And this is the big epic battle. This is the organic response to the enemy. You are the organic response. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, old, young, you were a Muslim, whatever. You're being used. These are cults of evil, and we can stand against it. And we don't want World War III, because if the Russians stand down, which thank God they have, the problem is the globalists will false flag again. They did it almost to the date a year later to tell them we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to invade you, and we're going to topple you, and we're going to put radical Muslims in that are going to rape your wives and daughters and put them in sex slavery and sell them onto slave ships, which is all going on again. And we're going to kill all the Christians and blow up all the artifacts and let a bunch of crazy demonic jihadis run around and wipe their ass on Syria. And I'm just not going to stand with evil. My soul does not stand with evil. And I get the trick they did on Trump to set him up with his base. How they said, sir, they're saying you're a Russian, you're not. We can't prove chemicals one way or the other, but it looks weak if you don't. It's a message to North Korea ahead of your meeting in a month with Kim Jong-un. This is happening word for word. You need to go ahead and do this. And we'll go ahead and tell the Russians we're going to do it, and tell them they can decide whatever they want to do, but we're going to give them a couple days to get out of their bases. You and the algorithm say you're going to attack to look tough to get the hawks off your back. Then you come in and say you never said you would, which is part of your strategy. You never say when you're coming. We told them when you're coming, and then you flip back. And that's all. But that's the path of weakness. That's the path of lies. Trump should come out and have a press conference and say, I'm being blackmailed, not about Russia. but about, entries that are wrong in books or whatever at my hotels. You can't even do business at that level if you're not. The Clintons, billions in a fake foundation, 1 trillion times worse than anything Trump's done. But instead, Trump thinks he can play games with all this, like he's a casino owner and a hotel owner. You're not that anymore. And the thing about putting out uncertainty and manipulating the press, that works at the level you were, Trump. It's not going to work at this level. Ever. So, I'm mad at Trump because he's on the path to destruction, our own destruction. But he's definitely on the path to impeachment. And he's definitely on the path to the Democrats winning in 2018. So the Democrats are reprobate globalist scum. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're never going to stop. They're going to celebrate war and then say they're anti-war and say, oh, look at your guy Trump, he's pro-war. F you, warmonger. I'm like, Hillary and Elizabeth Warren, all your people are pushing for it. They don't even respond because it's a soullessness. They don't respect themselves. They don't respect you when you have an intellectual debate. It's all about point scoring, so Twitter likes them so they can get more friends, fake friends. It's all about bots. It's all about mental illness. It's all about being followers. And they're the actors, they're the followers. That's why they tell you that I am an actor, that I am a follower, because I'm the complete 180 opposite. You think this is a teleprompter got loaded up here? And they make it about me instead of about what did I say. The Democrats are celebrating this. Trump is now being bullied into what they want. The Mueller thing is completely lawless and out of control. And it's sad to see Trump do this. So why did they do it? Why am I angry at Trump? What are the Russians going to respond with? Trump's being blackmailed. Now I'm going to go in the other studio now, and I'm going to go over all these articles. Got a big stack of these where I'm going to actually go through everything I've said here. And I'm going to show you the answer to all this. Wesley Clark, the former head of NATO, former top U.S. general, saying 10 years ago, everything that's happened, it's an admitted plan to topple Syria, to put radical jihadists in control, to destabilize the region and not let Syria sell its own oil and gas to Europe with lower prices. That's free market. That will make them be even more of a resort country. Just 7 years ago, they were becoming one of the top resorts. Beautiful coral reefs, beautiful Mediterranean, beautiful Roman and Greek ruins, beautiful culture, beautiful markets. I was looking at going to Syria like 10 years ago because it was one of the, even they said, well, much better than Egypt, to go visit or wherever. It was like really safe, nice people. It's all been trashed, just blown up buildings everywhere, dead people everywhere. And our globalist rulers that hate Christianity, hate flyover country, hate anything good, they saw that and said, we're going to blow that up. By the way, they're going to double cross Jordan and do that to them as well. So every Muslim regime that's not evil is being overthrown by the globalists, and it's wrong. And the drums of war are beaten big, and they wish the Russians would have done something. The Russians had restraint, but there'll be more false flags. And I've got it right here. Because you leftists will say, oh, it's not true. You play that game. CNN, Hillary Clinton, we should have a strike on Syria. Boom. Here's Elizabeth Warren. Chemical attacks in Syria are horrifying and a clear violation of international law. The world must hold Assad accountable for its violence against Syrian people. And the U.S. should be part of a planned, coordinated, multinational effort. That was 2 days before the strike. See, she's running the show. She knows what Trump will do. Global warfare. We're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Somalia, Sudan, Iran. They're about 5 years behind, but there's Wesley Clark. I'll play the video for you in a minute. I've got all the mainstream news articles here in my stack where the Russians said that the West was going to stage chemical attacks. Here's one of them. Syria's eastern Ghouta military prepare chemical attack, March 18th. See how I told you all this? And then, I go to the stack. It's there. See, because I'm not playing World of Warcraft, or I'm not playing Fortnite or all this stuff. I'm not saying you're bad if you do, but see, I'm dealing with a real storm. I'm dealing with real attacks. I'm dealing with real things. This is really going on. I really have 4 children. I really have globalists after me. I've really changed the world with your help. So I'm always reaching out to those that attack us, the prodigal sons. I want the regular listeners and folks to know I love you. I appreciate you. What have I been going, 40 minutes here? I'm just guessing.
54.
54. And I've not plugged one time. Last night we were for 3 hours of the whole crew here. We've got a bunch of great supplements, a bunch of great water filters, air filters, the very best systems. The media has shows on Comedy Central and C-SPAN saying Jones is a fraud. He sells water filters. I was in D.C. The water smelled like kerosene, like gasoline. I thought they might be poisoning the Trump water supply at the Trump Hotel. I'm being sarcastic. So I was at another hotel and checked it out. And the water is like and they admit it's got hundreds of chemicals in it all over the country. We sell the very best gravity fed systems. Alexa Pure, Pro Pure, both great. They're apples and oranges, different things. They cut out everything 99+%. We've got air filtration systems. The Alexa Pure Breeze is great. That's still $50 off, one of the best systems out there. We got great supplements. We're about to sell out of a bunch of the products. We've got the X2. We don't be able to have that anymore. It's a deep earth source of iodine, the good halogen. Learn about that. InfoWarsStore.com. That's still 25% off. That's about the end. But when you financially support us, you change the world. And when you spread the live links, spread the live articles, it's seismic what it does, and it gets around the censors, and it frustrates them so much that they're coming after us with lawsuits and the rest of it. So we've got products, just like our information is game changing, just like our information is world changing, and it's so devastating to them. Imagine the products we sell. The t-shirts, hundreds of them are great. Meet like-minded people, spread the word. You get auto ship, 10% off on things you want to reorder, like high quality organic coffee we've got from Chiapas, Southern Mexico. I think it's the best. People love it. We've got just hundreds of products, thousands of products. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. Tomorrow I'll be back live 4 to 6 p.m. Lord willing with the Sunday transmission. I want to thank Carl. I want to thank Travis for coming here today. I'm going to get myself composed because I've done a long transmission here because you just can't do this in little sound bites. I'm going to do another live video here and then I'm going to be done, go home and see my wife and baby, and my other children. But I'm going to just condense this. Trump is being maneuvered. It appears he's being compromised. They're illegally raiding him. They're doing incredible authoritarian things. The globals want to get rid of free speech. They want to sew up the rebellion, and because they know they're weak, they want to end free speech all over the Western world. They're trying to launch giant wars against Islamic countries to bring them down, to then flood Europe with the refugees. The rebels have been caught staging chemical attacks before. The Russians have restrained themselves incredibly. We could have had a nuclear war last night. Most analysts agreed. But now they'll just stage more, just keep punching them in the nose till they rise up. Soros brags he overthrew Ukraine. The left won't even respond to that. We are just in an incredible time historically. And so I say F what Trump did. Not Trump himself, because he's way better than Hillary. But you can go sideways on DACA a little, or sideways on this and that, but you can't go sideways on bombing military bases that are fighting Al-Qaeda and ISIS and are part of sovereign nations. You can't do that. Newswars.com, prisonplanet.com, Infowars.com. I'm glad to see these videos are getting millions of views, even though Google admits some hidden video stuff from Veritas and others. They shadow ban us. You have to go to Infowars.com. You have to go to our YouTube page. You have to go to our Facebook page to find the videos. People go, I'm subscribed. I don't get them. Exactly. They don't want you getting this. What does that tell you? Because I just laid out common sense here. I'm going to show you Wesley Clark in the next video in 10 minutes, saying it's all staged, it's all planned. Well, of course it is. So all this new stuff about, chemical weapons or all this, it's a load of horse manure. Let me give you a little notice here. George Herbert Walker Bush in 1991 bombed more than 30 chemical sites, including Camisea, the biggest chemical dump ever blown up in the world. And 300 miles away, they had chemical weapons detectors going off. And we had tens of thousands of troops die in the next year from brainstem tumors and death. And they were chemical weapons. But Saddam never used chemical weapons. They blew up Camisea. You can watch the aircraft footage of the bombs inside. They didn't drop bombs on it, but aircraft videotaped it, blowing up. They had, I forget, just thousands and thousands of tons. It was just some unbelievable amount of this underground bunker. Just look up Camisea. And then it rained down and everybody got sick and threw up and had convulsions. They said, be tough, Marines, be tough, Army. And then a lot of them died. And then some, died 10 years later, but a lot died that year. That was Gulf War syndrome, amongst others. I interviewed the head of the Army Chemical Warfare Operation, the head of the Army's DU operation, Doug Rocky. I mean, I don't play games. I don't just act like I'm researching, like somebody gets their PhD and here's a few lectures and, I know everything. Oh, hey, baby, date me at night. I'm really cool. I'm a professor. I hit people in the head with bike locks at Antifa meetings. I mean, I lived this for 20-something years on air, every day interviewing the experts. The guy that authored our chemical weapons treaty, Boyle, all of them. And that's why I know this. I've talked to the experts. And what's crazy is most of them are really good moral people. But the people on top, the elites, are the psychos, using all the real hardworking people to control the whole thing. And so here's the big news. They say they blew up 3 chemical weapons dumps If you blew up a chemical weapons dump with a 2,000-pound bomb, it chain reactions. You get a mushroom cloud, and it kills all the towns around it, like Saddam gassing the Kurds famously. And some of it blew back on his forces. It was like World War I. They didn't blow up any damn chemicals, or you'd be hearing about all the dead right now. Okay? So that's what I mean. This is BS. Assad, 5 years ago, gave up his chemicals, and they're a sovereign nation that's never used them. We've got more chemicals than anybody else. We're America, but the globalists have hijacked us like a parasite. There's a parasite that's in bird crap, and the birds crap on the leaves, and then the slugs eat it, and the parasite is tiny, but it actually programs the brain. It programs the brain. Look this up. There's video of this online. This is mainline science. And then it makes the slug eat a bunch so that's a big meal, and then it climbs the top of the tree and commits suicide. It goes to birds. And there's another brain parasite that they think as much as a third of the women in the world have, because it's more, for whatever reason, their blood-brain barrier is thicker, but the parasite gets there easier. Call it crazy cat women, where there's another brain worm. And this is a science fiction thing. You realize that a lot of the women in the U.S. have a brain worm that makes them then want more cats, and with an endorphin that releases the smell of urine. And where I'm going with this is, I'm not saying the globalists are putting parasites in our brains. It's a psychic parasite. But I'm just saying, even at the level of cats and slugs, there are mind control parasites. And that's what the globalists are culturally. They are a joke. And I want to get rid of them. And the only way you do that is being aware of it and understanding it. Don't believe me, just search engine cat parasite human brains. That's what I mean, folks. There's so much going on here. This is so sophisticated. And they've even found cats generationally that don't have the parasite have genetic memory programs in them from the parasites that are similar to the one that gets in the slugs and are still basically programmed by it. Now, they're going to make a big joke out of that, just like frogs being gay from the atrazine. It's a total fact, because they don't want you to know this. And the people that work with this system have basically given into it. So I was just describing how they're a cultural parasite. Look at how there are these real parasites that are in the third dimension. All right, that's about an hour transmission. Next big transmission's coming up. The proof that Syria was staged and pre-planned. Coming up in the control room in about 10 minutes. I'm Alex Jones. Let's stop World War III. Let's believe in each other. Let's not let the globalists hijack America and have a big you-know-what measuring contest and try to bully the Russians and everybody else. Let's take this country back. We've been so close to it 5 years ago when our own military said we're not going to be Al-Qaeda's Air Force, and Obama was faced to back off for a while. Now the globalists are upset. Now they want to try to relaunch the same plan with the fake WMDs. It just goes on and on. Let's say no to that. God bless you all. They think that's off a teleprompter?
A lot of them, I mean, you can always see just the trolls in the comments, just the ones that are